Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be sharing 3 perfect appetizers for game day and then also a fall dessert that is absolutely perfect for game day as well. These are all great finger foods, really simple to make. They use very few ingredients and they are absolutely delicious. The first recipe in today's video is for these pizza rolls. So I'm going to get started by just flouring my Silpat here. This is what I like to use to roll out dough. And I'm just going to use a little bit of flour, and then I'm using refrigerated pizza dough. And I'm just going to flour the top of that and my rolling pin and just roll it out so it gets to be a little bit thinner and try to make it as much of a rectangle shape as I can. This does not have to be perfect. You just want to get it a little bit thinner. Then I'm going to go ahead and take some pasta sauce. You can use pizza sauce, whatever your favorite is, and you just want to go ahead and put that onto the dough. You do want to try to leave about a 1/2 inch around without the pasta sauce, so that way when you're rolling it can seal better. You can see that I didn't fully do that everywhere, so some of this kind of opens up a little bit, but it was totally okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and layer on some pepperoni. Now you can also do ham, which is what the original recipe calls for in addition to the pepperoni, but you can just use whatever your favorite pizza toppings are. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in with some freshly grated mozzarella cheese. And like I mentioned before, with using whatever kind of toppings, I really think some like sauteed onions, green peppers, even mushrooms, anything like that would be really great. But if you do mushrooms, make sure that you cook them first so that way they don't release all of their water when they're in the oven. But once we have that topped, you're just going to roll it up. And to roll it, you're going to start at the long end of the rectangle and just try to roll it as tightly as possible until you get to the end of the roll. And then I'm going to take a serrated knife after I pinch the ends closed here, and I'm just going to score where I'm going to cut it. Now this should make 12 rolls, so I went ahead and did it in half and then kind of cut from there to space out my 12 rolls. And then I went ahead and cut through, and this is where I made a really big mistake. If you are using a Silpat, do not cut on it. Transfer this to a cutting board because I completely ruined my Silpat. I don't know if you can see it in the clip here, but I end up slicing through it, and I totally wanted to cry when I realized what was happening, but I just went ahead and finished. Once you have cut your rolls, you're going to put them onto a parchment lined baking sheet, and then we're going to top them with some garlic butter. So I just melted some butter, I'm adding in some garlic powder, and you can also do Italian seasoning as well. My husband does not love Italian seasoning, so I did leave it out of this butter topping, but if you like it, I would add it in at this step. And then you're going to go ahead and brush that over the top and the sides of all of the rolls. And so as you can see here, there's only 6 rolls on each baking sheet. They do rise a little bit when they're in the oven, so I did leave them spaced out on 2 sheets per the recipe's instructions. And then they're going to bake at 425 degrees, and it takes about 13 to 15 minutes. Now keep an eye on them because I let mine go a little bit too long, so they got a little bit dark on the bottom. So I would say check it after about 12 minutes and just to see if they are done or not. And I just served them with a side of that marinara sauce. I think Alfredo would be really good as well if you like Alfredo. And then next up, we're going to make these sausage crescent rolls. This recipe cannot get any easier. You're just going to start out by browning your breakfast sausage, whatever your favorite is. I love to use the Jimmy Dean. Now I did have this recipe, which is why you're seeing 1/2 pound of sausage. And then for the filling, you're going to take some cream cheese and then some drained Rotel. You want to make sure that you drain it really well to get all of that liquid out. I drained it and then I actually squeezed it with a paper towel, or you can use a clean kitchen towel just to get all that moisture out. And then you're going to add in your cooked sausage, and then we're going to use these to fill the crescent rolls. Now I will have all of these recipes linked in the description box below, but this recipe did call for you to cut the crescent rolls in half, and I thought that would be very difficult trying to stuff them, so I left them whole and they were perfect. But if you do want them to be smaller, you can cut them in half. But you're just going to take a little bit of your filling on the top of it, and then I went ahead and took the skinny end and just wrapped it around. I found that to be the easiest way to get these to wrap and close without losing any of that filling. And when I was wrapping it, I kind of thought that while it was baking that some of this filling was going to spill out, but it didn't, and it came out absolutely perfect. And then these are going to bake in a 375-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Again, you want to probably check these at about like 13 minutes, just depending on your oven temperature. All of our ovens kind of run at different temps, so I would keep an eye on them at that point. These were absolutely amazing, a huge hit at my house, and they're only 4 ingredients. How much easier can you get than that? The last savory appetizer is for these jalapeno poppers, and I love jalapeno poppers, and this version with not having to deep fry it was so quick and easy to make, but you still had a great crunch. So I'm just going to start out by making the filling, which is just going to be some cream cheese, a little bit of garlic powder, and then some cheddar cheese shredded. And I'm just going to give that a good stir until it is well combined. For this recipe, I quartered it because I didn't want to make a whole bunch of them because it was just my husband and I testing all of these out. So I didn't want to make a lot. And then you're going to go ahead and prep your jalapenos. And to do that, you just want to cut them in half. And then you're going to just use a spoon to cut out or kind of scrape out the seeds and the membranes of the jalapenos. And then they will be ready to stuff. So you're just going to take a little bit of that cream cheese mixture and stuff each of the jalapenos with it. And then I am going to make the panko breadcrumb topping, which is going to give us our crunchy element. So I'm just going to take a little bit of melted butter and add in some panko breadcrumbs. Give that a good stir so all of the breadcrumbs get coated in the butter. And then you're just going to go ahead and top the jalapenos. I put them on a baking sheet lined with foil just so that way if anything spilled over, it wouldn't stick to my pan. You don't have to do that, but I found that it was really easy cleanup. And then this is going to go into the oven at 400 degrees for about 18 to 20 minutes. Now on to our fall dessert. We're going to make these pumpkin twists that are the perfect dessert finger food for game day. So I'm just going to start out by preparing the pumpkin filling part. So you're just going to use some pumpkin puree. And then to that, you're going to add in some brown sugar, some pumpkin pie spice, a little bit of maple syrup, and then you're going to give that a good stir. I went ahead and just used my mixer because I thought it would be easiest to combine the brown sugar into the pumpkin. You don't have to do that, but it did make it really quick and easy to do. Then I'm going to take a sheet of crescent rolls and then I cut that in half lengthwise, and then you just want to press the seams together, and then you're going to top it with that pumpkin filling that we made on one of the sheets, and then you're going to take the other sheet and place it on top before slicing it. Now I don't know if I did this part exactly correctly or exactly right, but it did work. It was a little bit messy, I have to say, and I got a little bit worried when I started doing this because you can see the crescent rolls kind of started to separate because of that pumpkin filling, but they turned out amazing. So just trust the process. Again, I don't know if there's an easier way to do this, but I just used my pizza cutter to slice down, and then I transferred them to my parchment lined baking sheet, and then you're going to twist it. So you're going to take one end, twist a couple of times, take the other end, twist a couple of times in the opposite direction so it keeps your twist going in the same way, and then you're going to repeat that with all of them. Now, like I said, this process for me was a little bit messy because the filling was starting to come out, but they absolutely turned out perfect. So I highly recommend this recipe. Just be a little patient with this part. It only took maybe 3 minutes to do this, and it was, like I said, messy, but it was definitely worth it. Then I'm going to top each of them with some melted butter, and the recipe calls to combine some regular sugar with cinnamon and sprinkle the top. I did not do the step of combining them. I just sprinkled them separately because I did not want to dirty another bowl. So here I'm going in with that sugar and just topping each one with a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some cinnamon as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried a twist recipe like this. I'm curious to know if there's an easier or better way to do this. But like I said, even though it was a little bit messy, it was perfect. And I just served it with some whipped cream. Absolutely amazing. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing these for our recipes today. I really enjoyed creating them for you. I'm always on the hunt for new ideas for this time of year. For me, watching football, part of the fun is the food. So please let me know in the comments down below if you're excited to try any of these. And if you haven't done so already, I would love for you to subscribe and join my YouTube family. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.